Hello everyone, welcome to day 9 of 60-day program on Amazon by Indian Seller Academy. I am Dev and I welcome you to the ninth day of the 60-day program, and today we are going to cover cash flow basics. In our yesterday's session, we did talk about investment and a lot of different areas where you can end up spending money to get some incentive out of your money spent. Today, we will talk about why that money is so important to stay in your hand, which is all about cash flow. We will not go very depth into cash flow because that is more economics. But again, we will talk about cash flow from an Amazon's context and an Amazon business perspective. So let's get started. So what is cash flow, right? And again, cash flow are of two types, whether it's inflow of cash or whether it's outflow of cash. Inflow of cash means cash is coming at your hand, at your disposal, and outflow means you are spending cash in return of some favor, some product or service. Again, cash at hand is very important, and it is also called liquidity. It is that amount that you can liquidate in order to avail some services in return. So these were fundamental terms. Again, inflow minus outflow is the amount that you have in your hand. Whatever cash you're earning minus whatever cash you're spending is the cash that remains with you. Now, if this cash that remains with you is a positive number, otherwise, if the inflow is more than outflow, you have a positive cash flow. If the outflow or the amount that you're spending is more than the amount that you're getting, you have a negative cash flow and you will be in debt. Now, that being said, what are the key areas where you will have to spend this cash that you have in hand? First is operations, and in Amazon's context, it is mostly the advertisements that you run on a day to day basis. The other place where you will have operations is your daily orders on Amazon. Now, in case you are either fulfilling the orders yourself or Amazon is doing it for you, you are paying Amazon some sort of incentive or commission based upon the product value. So it's 15% referral fee, then some packaging fees, some closing fees, and all these fees we will talk about in a different session. But these are your day-to-day operations which result in an outflow of cash. Then we have some investments, which are basically your product related expenses, right? Any inventory that you buy in bulk, you have to spend money, and that is also a part of outflow, cash outflow. You are paying money to get some service in return. And then we have financing, which is the inflow of cash, which is sales payout. Whatever orders you have basically delivered, for that orders, the money that has been accumulated in an Amazon account, that is then paid out to your bank account, and these are called payouts. So this is the positive inflow of cash. Now, a very common misconception or a misnomer is to confuse cash flow with profitability. Profitability is a long term thing, right? If you're buying 100 units, you will be spending a lot of cash, which would be outflow of cash, and that means you have a negative cash flow, right? You do not have any inflow, but you are spending money to buy that inventory, which means you have a negative cash flow. But again, in the long run, that product that you have bought, if you sell on Amazon, you will be earning a lot of money and profits, making profits as well, which would mean at a later stage you will have a positive inflow, and this positive inflow will be more than the cash flow outward cash flow that you had earlier. So profitability is a long term concept, right? In the long term or in a range of time, your inflow should be more than your outflow to have a positive cash flow. Other than that, cash flow is more of an instantaneous thing. If you're spending money, it's outward cash flow or a negative cash flow. If you're getting money, it's inward cash flow or positive in cash flow. So cash flow is of a particular instant. Profitability is a long term. When I say long term, it need not be years, it could be month, it could be a couple of days or a week. But again, cash flow is more like an instant, as of that particular moment, as of that particular day. So that being said, these are all about cash flow basics, right? What it means, why should you have a positive, why should you have a negative, and all the basics. Now we will cover some of the examples of positive and negative cash flows. So when we say about positive cash flow or inflow, right, or whether negative cash flow or outward cash flow, where you have spent some money to buy something, these are certain examples that you should keep in mind that will help you to understand what is a positive and what is a negative cash flow. So when your money is tied up in your bank deposit and you cannot use it to buy inventory, What is the example of this, right? You have delivered your orders, you have got the money there in your Amazon account. It's there in your Amazon wallet, it will reflect in your seller account, but then it is not deposited in your bank account, and so you cannot use the money. Although you have got it, you cannot use it to buy more inventory. Now this is an example of static cash flow, or you can say it as negative cash flow as well. Although you have got the money, but still you are not getting the money into your account, which means it is a prolonged period of cash not coming to your disposal, and which basically means you are out of cash to buy anything else or any other inventory. The other thing is, if you're buying hardware, let's say for example, if you need to print labels and you have bought a particular printer at your warehouse or at your home, right? This is also an example of a negative cash flow, right? You are buying a printer and then that printer comes at an expense. As of that particular moment, you do not know whether the printer cost will be profitable in the long run, but for that moment you have spent some amount of thousands to get that printer in. That printer cost could have been compensated by, let's say, buying inventory if you had not spent on the printer. So this is also an example of negative cash flow, right? You are spending money somewhere, it's going out of your hand. The other one is a stable positive cash flow, and how this can help you, right? Let's say you are doing business on Amazon for a long time now, you know how to plan things, you are getting money regularly, you have a good payout schedule as well. In those cases, if you have a stable positive cash flow, you can take the extra money out, which is basically the profits that you have, and then you can spend it on your advertisements cost. So that is, one place where you can have your positive cash flow spent into a direction to generate more amount of cash flow for you, or more amount of orders for you. And then when I say profits, right, a lot of people confuse profits with a positive cash flow. People say that, okay, only if my inflow is more than my outflow, which is a positive cash flow, then only I'm profitable. That is not the case. You can have a negative cash flow but still be profitable. As I covered in the previous example, you can buy inventory and then you can sell it in, let's say, a month, and then after a month you will see that, okay, the cost of purchasing the goods were very less than the cost of selling the goods, which means that you are profitable. So you can be profitable, still have a negative cash flow for a long period of time. So there's difference between profit and there's difference between cash flow. So keep that in mind as well. Now, impact of low cash flow or low cash in hand, right? When I say cash flow, think of it as cash in hand, right? It's a cash in hand. It's the amount that you can liquidate to buy more things for yourself. So when we have low cash flow, it impacts our business in a lot of ways. In terms of Amazon, you can think of low cash flow or low cash in hand causing stock outs, right? You will be out of stock and then you will not be able to restock your inventory because you do not have any cash in hand. The second can be you can miss out on sales. Again, directly related to the first one, if you do not have money to buy stocks, if you do not have money to buy inventory, then you will not be able to sell them on Amazon, and you are missing out the sales. You are missing out on sales which you would have otherwise made on Amazon. The other one is decreased inventory levels, right? Let's say, okay, you have cash flow, but again, it's not as such as, it's a regular cash flow. You have 10 rupees deposited in your Amazon account, you take that 10 rupees, you buy something, and then you have only inventory for that 10 rupees piled up in your Amazon warehouse. So in case the cash flow is slow, in case the cash flow is slow, if you're getting your payouts in 14 days, you will, whatever amount that you have at your disposable, you might go and buy inventory, and that might not be enough to buy a lot of inventory. So you will see decreased inventory levels if the cash flow is very slow. Again, the issue of loss of organic search rank. A lot of time people they don't have cash at their hand, they become out of stock. And once you become out of stock, right, if you are out of stock for a period of, let's say, 3 or 4 days, your organic rank on Amazon drops significantly, right? It can drop by thousands. In some cases, for categories like home and kitchen, it can even drop by 10,000 as well. So make sure that you have enough cash so that you never get out of stock, or plan your inventory in such a manner that you have enough cash at your disposal, even if Amazon stores some reserve for your cash. The second last one is late payment fees. And again, whenever the cash flow is low, you will have low inventory. When you have low inventory, you will have lesser number of sales. And when you have lesser number of sales, it would mean that your seller account has not matured, that you will get faster cash outs. So it's basically a cycle wherein if you have low cash flow, it will return in even more and more lesser cash flow. The only way you can go about it is you plan accordingly, you set schedules, and we will talk about how you can improve cash flow starting from the next slide. But that's where you have to manage cash flow very well in terms of schedule and plan things, plan the inventory that you buy, plan the lead times that are given by your supplier, and then decide what should be the amount of inventory that you should purchase. And the last but not the least, and is very significant, guys, there are so many deals that come on Amazon in terms of Prime Day sales, Independence Day sales, whatnot, different festivals, Black Friday, Christmas. So you should be having a lot of money at your hand or at your disposable some months in advance to this Prime Day or these events, right? For example, if Prime Day starting in this case, I guess it started on 24th of June or July, I'm not sure, 24th of July to 26th of July, and you must be heavy on stock by 20th of July. And when I say 20th of July, because few days it will take for Amazon to rank your product as well. If you're launching new, it's best that you restock it on 20th of July. Wait for 2-3 days for Amazon to understand what the product is, get it ranked organically, and then bang on 24th of June, on 24th of July, whatever the case may be, on Prime Day, your product will sell definitely good. But let's say if you were not prepared, if you did not have enough cash in hand to keep the inventory on Amazon's warehouse on 20th, you will lose out on so much sales. People get so much on Prime Day deals. So that's one point that you should always keep in mind. Plan accordingly so that you have enough cash at hand for those special days. Now talking about how you can improve cash flow, and there are various ways you can do it. It comes with experience. It's not something that you can apply this formula and it will start working for you. It comes with experience. As and when you handle more businesses, you handle more products, you will understand how you can manage this better. Again, nobody is an expert in managing cash flow. All of us face issues with cash flow, managing the amount of cash that we have at our disposal. So the first method of improving cash flow is to shorten the time between your inflow and outflow, right? For example, if you purchase some inventory on let's say 1st of August, or let's say 1st of September, and then that inventory goes out of stock, let's say on 1st of October, you've already have a 1 month of period wherein there's no inflow of cash, right? Similarly with Amazon, if you are a new seller account, you will have a 14-day payout period, right? Within that period there will be no inflow of cash. So your frame of mind should be that I will buy minimum inventory at one go, so that all of this can be sold in such a time frame. In first cases, in the initial stages, you can think of a 2-week time frame, so that by the time 2 weeks are done, your inventory is sold, you have all of the cash again at your disposal, and then you can buy or restock yourself again. So that's the whole idea of keeping a low time or a short time between your inflow and outflow. Order the right amount of stocks, do not overstock, because even if you overstock it, it will be charging you storage fees on Amazon regularly. If you are storing the goods in your warehouse, again you will have to either rent it out, lease it out, again it will take a lot of your expenses, it will burn your money. And then again, as I said, sell soon after they arrive. Once the goods have arrived from your supplier, do not waste time in storing it in your warehouse. Directly ship it to your customers as per your orders, or directly send it to the Amazon's warehouse, right? You do not want to have stock or have units just lying there in the warehouse and you're waiting for some day to arrive or something to arrive that you're going to plan and sell. So as soon as the stock comes, send it to the warehouse, get ready for selling. Now, improving the cash flow, the second method, which is organizing your expenses with peak inflows. Whenever you have a good amount of inflow, plan your expenses in such a way that these occur only when you're expecting a lot of money inwards, right? So keep track of your payout dates. Whenever you're going to receive money from Amazon, keep track of that. So today, let's say if it's the day when this is going to be live is 23rd of August, right? So if on 23rd of August, right, if you're planning to buy something, let's say on 27th of August, right, keep in mind that your payout day should be somewhere around 26th or 25th of August, right? So that's how you should go about it. Schedule your restock dates. Again, if you are planning to buy your inventory on 26th of August or 27th of August, you will pay the supplier and then the goods will reach you in 7 days or 10 days. For that period there is no cash flow, right? There's no inward cash flow. So make sure that you plan your restock dates accordingly, so that again when the next cycle comes, when the next cycle of investment is required, you again are able to clear your stock and get that inward cash flow. Again, this might sound a bit complicated, it comes with experience, and that's where you have to think about your payout dates where you receive the money from Amazon, as well as your restock dates when you're going to order this, when you're going to get the stock again from the supplier. So these two dates are very important, payout and when you are restocking your inventory on Amazon's warehouse. And again, the key funda being your biggest expenses must be parallel to your highest inflows, right? The money that you're spending and the biggest money that you're spending in a chunk should be very close to the timeline to which you receive your highest inflows. So that's the funda. Again, you should think of opportunities when you can boost cash flows, right? Let's say Prime Day is coming and you don't have enough cash flow, right? You realize it that 10 days from now we have Prime Day and I do not have a lot of cash at my hand. How can I get more cash now out of my business? I have products there on Amazon and then I want to clear them as soon as possible. So you run promotions, you run discounts, you run coupons, and then that gives you a short-term boost. It will make a sale, it will give you a payout, and then that short-term sales or that short-term stock clearance will help you to invest in your Prime Day sales. Again, the other way of improving or giving a boost to your cash flow is by using faster marketing channels. Now, Amazon advertisements works in a very algorithmic way, right? It will not be that on day one you will get so much of sales and on day two there's very less sales. It does happen on weekends that you have a slightly increased sales because people are more onto using the digital media platforms. But again, on a day-to-day basis you will not find significant increase in terms of orders by marketing, right? How you can boost your sales in terms of marketing is you go or explore opportunities that will give you an impulse marketing. Example can be influencer. You can go to influencer and tell them that you launch a video, a review video of your product, and then that way you will get a lot of impulse sales from buyers. So that way you will also be able to get some inflow and easy cash at your hand to prepare for the next big event. The next one is increase your average order value, and this is a very common metric that a lot of e-commerce websites track. If you're having your own e-commerce website, I'm pretty sure you will also be maintaining this metric, which is called the average order value. What is the average order value that a particular person or a customer has when he or she places an order on your website, right? So you should always aim for higher average order values. The more higher the average order value is, the more profits or the more revenue or the more cash is being pulled into the bank, right? So always think of getting more purchases in terms of volume, in terms of not the number of orders, but in fact even in one order you should have a maximum cap, right? And how you do it is by using bulk discounts, like buy 3 you will get 10% discount, buy 5 you will get 15% discount, something like that. Business sellers on Amazon can do this. You can also run promotions to achieve this. Free delivery. If your product, and this is for people who are doing fulfillment by merchant, if your product is more than, let's say, $4.99, this is Amazon standard. If your product is more than $4.99, you get free delivery, right? Otherwise you will have to pay some so and so amount. Provide bundles. Again, you pair one product with another product and increase the average order value. You can have better profit margins and more cash at your disposal by selling this particular product. And then pack of multi-pack, right? Like let's say if you're selling a particular home and kitchen item, you make it a pack of 2 or a pack of 3. Socks works well with apparels, works well with any toys, right? So if you buy a pack of things, you will be selling it at a higher cost. You will have more inflow of cash than selling it individually. So that is also ways of incentivizing customers on how they can spend more on one particular order. This one is talking about delayed supplier payments, and it all totally depends upon your supplier relationship, right? I stress upon it a lot in my supplier discussions or my supplier sessions. We will also talk about supplier relationship management when we talk about sourcing. But again, make sure that you have good relationship with your supplier in terms of having longer payment terms, right? So if they are saying that you have to pay 10 days in advance, or let's say 3 days in advance, tell them that okay, you will pay them in 1 day of advance, like like something around that. Negotiate terms with them so that you can delay your payments as much as possible. If your supplier is a good one and if he or she is a local one, you can also take goods on credit, right? You can pay them later once the goods are cleared. So make sure that this is done. If this is there, if this option is available, there is a lot of cash flow benefit that you get. You can always sell the product first, get the cash, and then repay them again. So that helps in getting some reserve amount of money as well at your disposal. Okay, and again is try to avoid impulse purchases. This is on your end. This is not the customer's. This is not in customer's control or something that you can control from the other end. It is something that you have to control from within, right? Examples could be buying a very expensive phone, or it can be buying something for your e-commerce store itself, like setting up an e-commerce website, or buying a printer for that matter, right? So do not buy a very expensive product without planning. Make sure you plan and see the dates when the stock will arrive, when you will get out of stock, and then go for these heavy purchases. Small purchases, it's completely fine, but in case you are making a big purchase, be sure of when and what time you are going to do that, so that it does not impact your sales, your inventory, your cash flow. Again, rent or lease instead of buying, that is a funda, I guess. You do not want to make a huge payment in terms of buying and then find yourself that okay, you are in a loss. Rather than that, go with EMIs, rent or lease. Again, it might not work for everyone, but again, those who plan it well, it works for them, right? So instead of having a warehouse, try to rent it out or try to get it for rent, and then you will get much more benefit in terms of cash flow. In terms of profitability, you might be weak, but in terms of cash flow, you will definitely be positive. So that's these two things that you have to keep in mind: profitability and cash flow, the difference between them, and what is more important in the shorter context. Is it cash flow or is it profitability can be a long thing, right? That's why if you think about startups, right, a lot of them go with a huge cash flow. They try to seek the market capture. They are worried about getting that funding in, and then they will think of profitability in the long term, right? So that's the whole idea about it, right? So again, that's all that I had for today. I am pretty sure it would have given you a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different techniques, and also made you aware as to what could be the impacts of having low cash flow at your hand. So that being said, the code for today is ISA 539. You will see an Instagram post. You will have to comment task on it to get the task straight on your DM. And we will see you again tomorrow at 10 p.m. on YouTube. And right after this video, we will also see you on Instagram at 10:30 p.m. That's all for today. Signing off. Bye bye, guys. Have a good day.